Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Empress Tifa's Kitchen, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to make soft and lump-free amala. If you're a beginner, make sure you pay absolute attention as I'll be giving you tips that will guarantee you have the perfect amala always. So let's get into it. To start with, we are going to boil the quantity of water for the amala that we need, and we need to allow the water to boil. Once it's boiled, we are going to pour in the ELUBO. ELUBO is yam flour, and that's what we are going to be using to make amala. First tip in making sure that your amala comes out lump free is to lower the heat before you pour in the ELUBO. If the water is boiling as you are adding the yam flour, it is going to form lumps, so you want to lower the heat. Make sure the boiling has reduced, especially if you are a beginner, you are not very fast with turning amala, so make sure you lower the heat and the boiling has gone down before you pour in the ELUBO. The second thing you want to ensure is that you pour in enough ELUBO at the first go, especially as a beginner. You see the way I'm laying emphasis on beginner. An expert can do and undo and the amala will still turn out fine. But if you're a beginner, please, the first tip, lower your heat before you pour in the ELUBO. And the second tip is that you add enough ELUBO at the first go. So the way I do my own is that I make sure that I cover the surface of the water in the pot with ELUBO, and I'm just going to add enough quantity depending on how deep the water is. So I just try and pour as much yam flour as I can. So if you don't do that, if you don't pour enough, it's probably going to form lumps, and you don't want that. So once you pour the ELUBO in, you just have to start stirring. Now after stirring for some times, even before it becomes smooth, if you realize that the amala is too soft, or maybe you feel that you need more ELUBO, just proceed and add a little bit. And you don't need to worry about the ELUBO being too much. You can always add water to it to make it softer. Once you are sure that you have the right amount of ELUBO, just go ahead and stir until it is smooth. You are going to need some arm work to make this happen, so just try and enjoy. I know it's not an easy process, just try and enjoy the process. So one thing I do to make it easier for me is that sometimes after stirring the ELUBO, I put it down off the stove, place it on the ground, find a low stool to sit down on and stir. That way I can exert all my energy and the amala will come out very smooth. And as you are going, make sure that you are scraping the sides of the pot and mixing it into the rest. For the measurement, usually I don't measure, because the way we cook in this part of the world, we measure with our eyes, then we just allow the spirit of our ancestors guide us. So I don't measure. But if you are looking for a particular measurement, maybe this is your first time you want to make amala, you can start with the ratio of 2 parts of water to 1 part of yam flour. You can now adjust from there, because that is not a definite measurement. If you need more ELUBO, you can add as you go, and if you feel that the ELUBO is too much, you can soften it with hot water. Now I'll proceed to add some hot water to the amala. I'm going to now poke holes into the amala so that the water can touch all the parts of the amala, and it will allow it to cook through also, because as the water is boiling, all the parts of the amala, the heat is well distributed. So just make sure you poke holes all around. Then I'll just cover it up and allow it to cook for like 4-5 minutes, depending on the size of your pot though. So talking about ELUBO, you should buy the one that is not grounded yet. They call it ELUBO bodo, and there's also ELUBO kayomo. I'm going to attach what it looks like on the screen so that you know what you are going for when you want to buy in the market. So you should buy this type of ELUBO and grind it yourself. This is because the people that sell those already grounded ELUBO, they usually mix in low quality type of ELUBO, so they grind them together. Some of them even use things that are not even ELUBO, like all these low quality greens and all of that. They will grind it so that they can make more profits. So, and you don't know what they are mixing in, you don't know the quality, so the best thing is to grind it yourself. And also you can also add things to your ELUBO when you are grinding, maybe just because you want to increase the nutritional value, or you want to improve on the nutritional value, or maybe you even have somebody that is living with diabetes and you just want to add things like sorghum, that's okababa, or maybe dry plantain, that's they call that ELUBO gede. So you can grind those things with your yam flour, with your ELUBO. So if it is important, very, very important that you grind yourself. If you are adding, you know that you are adding what you know, and you know the quantity that you are adding. not that somebody is just adding one nonsense from somewhere to your elubo and selling it just to, fatten their own pockets. So make sure that unless you have a very, very trusted vendor that gives you what you want, if you don't have such a person, it's your best bet is just to grind your elubo yourself in the market. So that said, you stir the amala until it is luscious. See that amala? Luscious. After some times, like that 4 or 5 minutes, the amala is ready. Now it's time to scoop the amala out of the pot. Now there's another tip here, guys. Because amala is very soft, it's going to stick to the plastic that you are using to scoop it from the pot, even after you have rubbed oil on the plastic. So the easiest way to make sure that it does not stick is to find a nylon and tie it to the scoop. So once you now tie it to the scoop, you are going to now rub vegetable oil on the nylon, not on the plastic of the scoop, but on the nylon that you tied on top of the scoop. And then you can now, start using it to scoop out your amala into your bowl and all of that. So if after some scoops you notice that it's now sticking to the nylon, you can just dip your finger into a little bit of vegetable oil and rub it on that part that is sticking. So but usually this method, you don't need to start rubbing oil all the time, because the nylon really helps with the sticking, so it goes a long way without sticking. So another thing you can do if you don't want to use the nylon method is that you can add a tiny bit of vegetable oil inside a bowl of water, and anytime you want to scoop your amala, you are going to dip the scoop inside that bowl of water so that it's going to get a coat of oil all over the scoop. So that's another method, whichever one works for you, but the nylon thing is what I like to do. Okay, our amala we are basically done. We just scoop and we serve our amala with our hot amala. We are going to serve it with delicious soup. Now, my last tip for the day is for lazy people like me. You see that scrubbing of the edge of the pots that our mothers used to do? I'm so lazy for that. That's just not me. So what I like to do is to fill the pot to the brim with water and leave it for hours. And when I say hours, I mean hours. So I'll leave it for hours, fill it to the brim, leave it, let it soak. Then I'll now use a scoop, the same scoop I use in the amala, for the amala. So I'll use it to I'll scrape it down. I'll scrape all the parts of the pot. Then when I get all the stock amala out of the pot, then I can now wash the pots. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, subscription is free. And make sure you also like this video. When you like my video, you are telling YouTube that what you are watching makes sense, and it would be nice for other people to also see it. So please click the like button, share with friends and family. Till we meet again in my next video, take care of yourselves. Thank you and bye bye.